guys, happy, what is today? Tuesday. Hope everybody's having a great day so far. This is Coach Bill, and I just got done doing my Tuesday moderate interval cardio. Felt great. I'll be doing a 48-hour fast today. It's a normal. I'm doing I'm doing two 48-hour fasts a week every other week. It's not because it's Thanksgiving on Thursday. Thanksgiving just happens to fall on the week that I'm doing my 48-hour fast, so it's not because of that. But anyway, people have questions about how are they going to be able to stay in fat adaptation, or how are they going to stay in keto during these holidays. And I'm talking the holidays are going to start basically right about now, and they're actually going to go through the month of November and December, and then actually at the beginning of January. And so there's a lot of family events, and so people are freaking stressing out about it. Some of them, they've actually met their goals, their results on losing that body fat or belly, and they don't want to gain it back, and they're freaking out because they actually have all these events, and that they're afraid that they're going to get tempted and they're going to fail, which probably most of them will. The cravings, because of certain hormones that might be out of balance. When you smell the what I like to call comfort food, your adrenaline pops up, and that's causing you to have the cravings. And most people out there can't power through it, or they don't know how to get through it. But I'm telling you guys, I have never, ever, Emily and I have never found a meal plan or a diet plan that actually will decrease cravings of those comfort foods. Emily and I have been doing this for probably a few years. Those of you who follow me know that we're doing a primal eating, intermittent prolonged fasting, and we combine it with our hydrogen-rich water for recovery and hydration, and of course for detoxification of all the chemicals that are in the environment. But we're on a primal eating plan, which is 70% good fat. I'm talking about good dietary fat. We're also doing 25% pasture-raised, grass-finished protein, including eggs, and we're doing very low carbs, 5% carbs, and most all the carbs are coming from leafy foods or vegetables. Now, I know some of you might be doing a paleo diet or a Mediterranean diet, which is also known as a low-carb diet. But there's a big difference between the protocols or primal eating than there is with those, is because you guys who are doing the paleo or the Mediterranean, or say you're doing a low-carb diet and you're doing 50 grams of carbs, or a little higher, maybe 50 to 75 grams of carbs a day, and you're going to get some results on that. But the issue is you guys aren't going to get the best results, and the reason for that is, and it's all over the science industry, that when you get your carbohydrates down to a certain level, like for us, we mostly are in, I would say, 25 to 20 grams of carbs, and very rarely do we go above 30 grams of carbs a day. And so we're tapping into the most powerful and magical health benefits your body can ever be taken into, and for anti-aging, and for adding lean muscle, because we train hard. And so those of you that follow me know that we've been doing our 3 protocols for a while, and you know the reasons why. And that's because we are very fat adapted now. We've been doing it long enough. Both of us are very consistent. We very rarely go off of our consistency because we don't have to. Our body has adjusted to burning fat as its primary source of energy. And those of you that want to know what fat adaptation means and what I'm talking about, is you can go to my YouTube channel, type in Bill Mabry, and subscribe to it, and then find the video that talks about fat adaptation. And because the whole purpose of being in fat adaptation is to burn the belly fat or the body fat off. Now, Emily and I have competed in the past, and we've tried every kind of Western diet or every kind of brand of new dieting to get our body fat down so that we can get on stage. I'm saying it again, I have never found anything that matches what we're doing that actually works in a very short time, and it's very simple to do once you become fat adapted. Now, those of you that follow me know I talk about fat adaptation a lot. Your body just doesn't jump into it. No, it takes time. And like I said, Emily and I have been doing this for a while, so we're very rooted in fat adaptation, meaning our body is living off of the fat we're eating. Now, of course, your body is going to store some glucose or carbohydrates in the muscle because there's certain organs or certain body parts that need the glucose. Not a lot less than most of you think. And so the body has a mechanism that even when you're on a high-fat diet, it's going to take the protein, it's called glucose synthesis. It's going to take the protein, convert it into glucose or sugar, store it in your bank account, in your muscle, so that if your brain, let's talk about especially your brain that does need some carbohydrates or glucose, the brain can tap into that stored deposit of glucose and then use it for energy or for whatever it needs. But like I said, there's no other diet I ever found. Now, how is Emily and I going to stay in fat adaptation? Well, for us guys, because we've been doing this a while and because we are rooted in fat adaptation, it's not that hard. We have our hormones, the hormones that are causing you guys to store fat, the hormones that are causing you guys to have cravings for that comfort food. You're out of balance, totally out of balance, and you're still eating too many carbs, and that's what's causing those hormones to escalate. For us, we don't have that issue. I could be on a 48-hour fast and go to someone's house, and they could be cooking some fantastic food, and the smell, it doesn't cause issues anymore. So that's the point you need to get to. Now, how long does it take to get to that point? That depends on how consistent you are, how focused you are, and how long you've been doing it. Some people, it takes a short time. Some people, it takes medium time. Some people, longer time. For me, personally, because I was a carboholic, I love breads, I love mashed potatoes and gravies, I love starchy foods, I've got a sweet tooth. Because of decades of doing that, when I converted over to these 3 protocols, it took me, I'm going to be honest, about a year and a half. I have 0 cravings now for any of that stuff. A matter of fact, Emily and I are so fat adapted that we're sensitive to certain carbohydrates, especially those carbs that are high starch. Now, we can, I do recommend to people to mix it up. I do think that sometimes listen to your body, because like with my wife, she knows when she needs some kind of low glycemic starch, like a sweet potato, sourdough bread, or rye bread, or starch that's low glycemic. Now, we don't eat fruit. But when you do become, when you're first starting out in this, you want to get to that point of rooted fat adaptation. So we always recommend eliminate the fruit for a while. Once you become rooted at it and you're consistently in fat adaptation or ketosis all the time, 24/7, you can introduce certain fruits back into the diet moderately. Berries, all your berries. But that means moderately, because the berries are sugar, and sugar is going to elevate or cause your insulin to spike above base. That is why most of you are overweight. That's why most of you cannot lose that belly or hip fat, is because your insulin is above base. And you're going up and down all the time because of the amount of carbs you're consuming on a daily basis. And so that's why it depends on how long you've been a carboholic and how much weight you need to lose or how overweight you are. But you will eventually, it'll come off. And I'm telling you, like I said, over these 35 plus years of being in the industry, I have never found any eating plan or diet that will come even close to what we're doing today. So Thursday's Thanksgiving. Am I worried about it? Absolutely not. Am I stressing about it? No, because I know that I am going to blow right through it, and I am going to stay in ketosis. I'll be back into it very fast. Now, what I do know this year compared to last year is that I mean, my favorite thing in Thanksgiving is one plate piled up with mashed potatoes and gravy and butter like a volcano. I like to see the gravy kind of flow over the mashed potatoes and then see the butter just flow on top of that. That's my separate plate. And then in the second plate, I would get a turkey and ham. I put tons of gravy on the turkey. I would get 2 or 3 rolls, heat them up, put some butter on it. And I would look forward to that 2 to 3 weeks before even Thanksgiving. Well, what I'm noticing now is that I don't even look for, I mean, I'm not even looking at it anymore. A matter of fact, when I even think about it, I remember how my body reacts to having too much carbs in one sitting, and I really don't have that craving like I used to, which blows me away because that was a favorite time of the year for me. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a normal on Thursday. See, Thursdays I usually do a 4-day fast, but I'm going to do a normal protocol that I normally do when I'm not doing a 48 fast, and that's probably going to be about a 20-hour fast. So I think we're going to eat around 1 or 2 o'clock. Well, by the time we eat at 1 or 2, that'll be about 18 or 20 hours from the meal the night before. So I'm going to be fast. So that'll be my one meal for the day. I will not have a meal at night. I won't need it. Now remember, we are rooted, fat adapted. We've been doing this for a long time. So when I eat, that is going to satisfy me because of the hormones that tells you you're full, you're not hungry. And by me staying away from a lot of the starchy carbs, that hormone is going to stay low. It's not going to be elevated, okay? So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to go after the turkey and the ham, and yes, I'm going to put gravy on the turkey. I have no craving for, I don't want the bread. I'm not going to have any bread or butter at all. My plate will be kind of large with the ham and turkey. I'm going to eat that first. That's what I'm going to do this year. Usually I eat the mashed potatoes, gravy, and butter first, then I consume the meat. I'm not going to do that. I really don't have the craving for those potatoes anymore, which may not, my daughter might get upset because she knows I love mashed potatoes and she makes a whole bunch. But anyway, so I'm going to eat that first. Then I'm going to eat it until I feel satisfied. Once I feel satisfied, I'm going to rest a few minutes, see how I feel. Then might have a second plate of turkey with some gravy on it. Then I'll contemplate and say, okay, now, what about the mashed potatoes and gravy? Will I go after that? Honestly, I really don't know if I will have a craving at it, but the theory is, and what I know from the past, is that if I consume the meat and gravy first and get myself satisfied with that, with a portion, most likely I won't even have mashed potatoes and gravy because I don't need it. I won't need it because of the fat in the meat and the fat in the gravy is going to satisfy my appetite. It's going to decrease ghrelin, and it's going, which is a hormone that tells you to eat more, and it's going to raise my leptin hormone, which tells me I'm satisfied. See, when your ghrelin goes up, your leptin goes down. You want to reverse it. And so by the type of food you're eating, that's what happens. Your leptin will go up because the hormone is telling your brain, hey, you're done eating, you're fine. Now, the other thing, so what happens is, if we're around the family now, I have no cravings for any pie. I will not have any sugar at all. No pie, no desserts. I just don't want it. My body doesn't want it. My body's not craving it. So I'm pretty well focused on that now. But what if the family, say around 5 or 6, a lot of people like to get up and have a second load or second. What if that happens? Now, Will I not do that? I don't know. Can I do it? Yes, because what am I going to do? I'm going to keep myself in ketosis by having turkey and gravy, because I like that. So I might have a little bit more. But usually when I do one meal a day and it's around 2 o'clock, I'm not hungry by 5 or 6. So I'm done eating. So most likely I'll just go ahead and on Friday I'll have my normal first meal at 1 or 2, and I just pulled off another 24 hours or something. But Friday I'll have 2 meals, maybe a snack. So I'm going to fast the following day. So Thursday I'll have my meal with my family, and then I'm going to fast very simply for 24 hours. So you see how that works? So that I'm not going to gain weight. And you're not going to gain weight after that meal anyway. So you have to have I think they're saying 10,000 calories per sitting to gain one pound. Well, I won't even get close to that. But anyway, I'm going to stay in fat burning because I'm going to be doing a 24-hour fast the next day. And it's going to be very simple, very easy for me to do that. But all of you follow me know how we preach that when you're doing a fasting or a prolonged fasting, or even when you're doing primal eating or keto, you have to drink enough of the good water that's not contaminated, that has natural minerals in it, and you got to keep up on the electrolytes, because when you're doing these these 2 protocols, your kidneys are flushing out water. That's why you're peeing so much when you're doing the protocols. As you pee, you're flushing out what? You're flushing out the minerals, your electrolytes. Well, what causes the adrenaline or some of the hormones that cause you to be hungry is imbalance of electrolytes. That can cause that also. And so that's how we explain to people, you want to control adrenaline when you're first starting out on our protocols, is you got to learn to drink enough good water, hydrogen-rich water, and you got to consume enough of the Himalayan sea salt, pink sea salt, with the electrolytes in it to keep your minerals at a balance, and that keeps that adrenaline at a level base, so you're not going to have the craving. So in other words, what happens is that I'm controlling adrenaline, or that hormone, with good hydrogen-rich water and sea salt as my electrolyte. So if I did have a hunger wave, this is what I tell my clients. If I have a hunger wave, I tell them, get a big glass of water and take about a 1/4 teaspoon of pink sea salt, and let's see what happens. Well, I already know what's going to happen because we've been doing it for years now, okay? And so now what about during the week when you guys are going to company parties? There's no difference. Just look at the food they're serving, and just pick the ones that will fit your primal eating or your keto eating, and start with those. Don't do the desserts. Just go with those. Like, for example, I've noticed some people are doing like a thin smoked ham stuffed with cottage or with cream cheese, something like that, or celery and carrots and things dipped in ranch dressings, or a cream cheese, spinach cream cheese dip some celery. So that's all keto stuff. So just kind of pick what you feel, and then eat those first, because what happens is your leptin will rise and you will be satisfied, and the cravings for the sweets and sugars will basically go away. If you do have a craving for sweets or sugar, even after you have your higher fat foods, go to the rescue. Hydrogen-rich water, pink sea salt, a big glass. I don't mean a little 4-ounce glass. I'm talking a 16-ounce glass. Suck it down and watch what happens. And now this is what we're going to do for the next 2 months. Okay? But the object, guys, is that, like I said in the past, is that I have never found a diet program in my 35 years, and Emily and I have done a lot of them, We've done a few of the 12-week diet downs to get on stage, and how those diet downs disrupt your hormones, and how brutal they are, and how crappy you feel, and how moody you are, and how unhealthy they are, just to get your body fat low enough to get on stage. If I would have known about the way we're eating now back then, I wouldn't have had any of those issues. It would have been much easier. I would have actually looked better, and my wife wouldn't have gone through the metabolic damage in her hormones that she went through. You guys can look up, go to Google, put in metabolic damage with physique girls, and there's going to be a ton of information of these girls who competed 3 or 4 times a year over so many years, and how they damage their hormones. Because once you damage the hormones like that, it's brutal trying to get them back to normal again. Okay, so you don't want to do that. Be careful of all that, because during competition you're taking all those all that crap, all those supplements, all those fat burners that are actually ruining your natural mechanisms that you have, that you can do it without even spending the money. It's all free. You can do the same thing by just learning how to do the 3 protocols we're doing and get the best results, because they're actually healthy. Okay, guys? So, guys, like I said, if you go to my YouTube channel, type in Bill Mabry, subscribe to it, find the videos that you, there's a bunch of them on there. There might be some on there that can answer some of your questions. Also, if you want to know more about my 60-day online coaching, just message me and I'll send that to you. Guys, you guys have a great Thanksgiving, and I'll see you guys at the next video. Have a great day. Bye.